Hello, so today we're having a look at a practice that's one of my favorites that's called Swooping Cat. And so let's look first of all about getting comfortable on hands and knees. So if you have achy knees, achy wrists, you might want a bit of extra padding. So I have a blanket here, and you can fold the blanket as thick as you need, and maybe even have two blankets if you need that for your knees and your wrists. So coming into a nice hands and knees position. And again, with the blanket, there is the option just to roll up the edge if you want a little bit of an angle on your wrist to make that a bit more comfortable. And again, you could fold up to thicken the padding under your knees. And the other thing to be mindful of is if the ankles are very tight and they've lifted off the floor, so there's not really any contact with the shins, one option is to simply tuck the toes under, but I can feel there's more pressure in the knees. And what can be nice is to fill that gap. So you could use a rolled up mat, or you can use a blanket, or you can use a cushion as I'm demonstrating here, just to fill that gap if there is. And then you can press into that pillow. It's comfortable, but it's a bit more stable. So a few options there to get started, being comfortable on hands and knees first. And then the first thing that we can do is just a little bit of circling. It can be as big or as small as you like. Changing direction, just to start limbering up the shoulders. You can bend the elbows, let it be a little bit wriggly. Come back to the center. And then from here, with the breath, just gently exhaling back towards the heels and inhaling up. So just exploring that range of movement. And again, if you want to avoid compression on the front of the body, you can take the knees a bit wider so that the legs are not pressing into the trunk at all. Good. Nice. So finding a comfortable place, and you may feel that your range of movement gradually gets a bit bigger. This is also a really nice way to open up the armpit area, opening the shoulders, the upper back. Great. And then coming back to our hands and knees. So just leveling out the shins so that they're parallel. And then from here coming into our more traditional cat. So we start with an in-breath. And as you exhale, we can round the spine, looking towards the belly. Breathe into your back here. Exhale, straightening, inhaling, lifting the head. So we take 2 breaths so we can move slowly and mindfully. Exhaling round, breathe into the back. Exhale, straighten. And then inhale, lifting the chest, looking forward. Let's do once more. Rounding, breathe into your back. Exhale, straighten. Inhaling, lifting. Good, coming back to a nice straight back. And at this point, you might just want to circle out the wrists. Give them a little bit of a stretch and a wriggle. Feel free to come into child's pose for a rest if you need one. Good. Taking a couple more breaths here. Lovely. So let's have a look at our swooping cat. So it's a combination of the back and forth movement we did with a traditional cat. So let's start with a nice deep breath in. And to exhale, round the spine. Keep exhaling with the rounded spine. Take the heels towards the hips. Now, as we breathe in, we're going to keep the head low, coming forward, scooping into our upward cat. Exhaling, rounding, and coming down. Inhaling forward, coming up. Now we can do this movement as strongly or as softly as you like, or as your students like. So an example of a softer version, we start with the rounding. You might just come down a little bit, soften the elbows, scooping forward, lifting up. So for people who are perhaps not feeling so energized or are still trying to recover strength in their arms, this can be a nice gentle way to work. And then maybe gradually you can get a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger. So everybody can work at the level that feels right for them, according to their flexibility, their strength, their energy. It's a really lovely way to get nice mobility through the spine, and it's quite a safe way to build up some upper body strength. Good. So a lot of people, as they come forward, might have the elbows out. That's completely fine. A stronger version is to keep the elbows tucked in so they're in line with the wrist. So as we come forward, the elbows stay off the floor, elbows tucked in. There's more strength here in the triceps as we push up. Exhale, round, stretching out. So again, there's lots of subtle variations according to what people need. So if elbows come out to the side, that's fine. We don't need to correct it. But if students are asking, how can I make this stronger on my arms? Keeping the elbows in, keeping them off the floor, coming a bit further forward. And you can feel for yourself as you play around with those variations, how that affects your shoulders and your arms. Good. And of course, just keeping that connection with the breath. Good. So let's just take a rest now. Big toes together, knees wide, or whatever version of child's pose you like. And coming down to rest with the head fully supported. So the head is not hanging in the air. If your head comfortably reaches the floor, you can take the hands round by your feet. So just see where it feels nicest for your shoulders. So we're looking to have complete relaxation here, releasing the shoulders, breathing into the back. And when you're ready, coming back up to kneeling or sitting. So have a go practicing that for yourself, and then have a go weaving that into your classes. And if you have any comments or feedback, then you can pop that in the comments below. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Thank you.